Hello everyone, I am Arpita Kanthal, a student of third semester of Budge College. Today I am to talk about William Faulkner's Dry September, and more importantly I am to talk about what really causes violence and monstrous behavior, which this story is really about. William Faulkner was an American writer from Mississippi. He wrote mainly about his life in American South. He influenced by the history of slavery, racism, and the inequality around him. His writing often shows us how normal people became cruel under social pressure. In September, Faulkner uses small town to expose racial injuries, mob mentality. At first glance, September looks like a racial violence, but if you read it carefully, you will realize there is more into it. Faulkner is not only focusing on the violent act, but he is focusing on everything that leads up to it. And what makes the story more disturbing? The story begins with a rumor about Minnie Cooper and Will Mays. Will Mays, a black man, insults Minnie Cooper, a white woman. And this is very important because Faulkner never tells what happened in Wilmer's point of view. We never heard Wilmer's side of story. We never enter his mind. And this is very symbolic because Faulkner is showing us that in a prejudiced society, the truth does not matter. Facts don't matter. Justice does not matter. What truly matters is who has power and who is also already considered guilty. Will Mays doesn't fight for his right not because he doesn't want to, because he is not allowed to. His fate is decided before he can speak. To fully understand the social reality of Faulkner's work, I have watched Just Mercy, written by Brian Stevenson. It's based on true story. In Just Mercy, we also saw how black people accused easily and no one stood for them. They believed everything the white people said without any question and proof. But there is a little difference between them. We see Brian Stevenson, the protagonist, also the writer of the show. He is lawyer, he is fighting back and challenging the system. It was not easy for him. He faced many hardships, but he never gave up. But in September, Wilmes is not even given a chance to defend himself. This contrast makes Wilmes' silence even more painful. In September, there's no system to protect him, no space for his voice. Now, one of the biggest causes of violence in this story is mob mentality. Individually, people might hesitate and feel doubt, but in a group, people feel more powerful and their fear and responsibility disappear. John McLendon represents this perfectly. He wants to be a leader, he wants to control the crowd, he wants to command, shout, and dominate. This is where toxic masculinity comes in. John presents himself as a protector of women, a man fighting for honor, as a good person, but when we see his private life, we see something else. He is extremely violent with his wife, he controls her, he terrifies her. So, raises a serious question. How can a man who abuses his own wife came to protect another woman? Faulkner exposes the hypocrisy here. John is not fighting for justice. He is fighting for power, dominance, and for his ego. And violence becomes his way of proving masculinity. And society supports him because his violence matches their prejudice. Now let's talk about Henry Hoxo. Hoxo, often seen as a weak. And yes, his silence can be called weakness. But at the same time, his silence is also forced. He tries to question the mob, so doubt, he feels something is wrong. But the moment he speaks, he is mocked, he called a supporter of black people, as if that itself is shameful. This shows how society corners people who want to speak against injustice. Even when you know someone is innocent, even when you feel violence is wrong, you afraid to speak because when you do, you will be judged, you will be isolated, you might become the next victim. So Henry stays silent. Hawkshaw showing us that monstrous behavior survives not only because of cruel people but also because of society forced good people into silence. Now Minnie Cooper. Minnie is a complex character. Yes, she is a victim of society. She is lonely, unmarried, ignored and judged. Society already labeled her as a failure. She wants attention and importance. She wants to feel valued. But at the same time, her own ego destroys her. Faulkner shows us something important here. Even those who benefit from violence are destroyed by it. Now, coming back to the ambiguity of the story. Faulkner leaves the truth unclear on purpose. Because this story is not about whether Wilmes is guilty or innocent. It is about the fact that the town does not care. Wilmes become a symbol, a metaphor of not just one man but every person silenced by prejudice. I also want to comment on the setting of the story Dry September. The month September is hot, dry and very suffocating, and this is not accidental. The dryness of weather reflects the dryness of human emotions. There's no sympathy, no compassion, no justice. Everything feels emotionless and violence grows easily in such atmosphere. So we can see why this story is named Dry September. So when we ask the real question, what causes violence and monstrous behavior? Faulkner given us many answers. Rumor, racism, mob mentality, toxic masculinity, fear of being judged, social pressure, silence. Violence does not begin with action. It begins in the mind, in beliefs, in attitudes. Dry September is a warning. It shows us how ordinary people become monsters when society shows them power matters more than truth and silence is safer than justice. And that is what makes this story so real and disturbing. Thank you for listening.